everyone, and welcome to The Journal. My name is Morgan Healy.
And I'm Ron Carpenito, and today we have an exciting show planned for you. There's a lot going on around town, and we're going to give you a taste of what there is to know.
We're here to provide you with a monthly magazine show that will give you a glimpse of the community and keep you informed.
You know, time is surely taking its toll on the plant house at the Stevens estate. The cost to renovate the small building has been deemed prohibitive, and soon heavy equipment will be brought in to take it down for good. Thanks to North Andover retired Fire Chief Bill Dolan, we had a chance to visit the plant house and take a step back in time.
Hello, my name is Bill Dolan. I'm a member of the Board of Trustees of the Stevens estate. I was a former fire chief in town, and during my time as fire chief, I took a lot of still pictures for myself of buildings that I knew that were going to be torn down. The purpose of this video is to take a video of a building that will be taken down very shortly at the Stevens estate, known as the plant house. We hope that this video provides a record and a virtual tour for people who are interested in the plant house and what it looked like. The plant house was originally part of a larger structure. It included a greenhouse and its adjacent gardens. The gardens in the greenhouse encompass most of what is now the parking lot at the Stevens estate. The greenhouse itself was a rather large building, as can be seen in photographs at the Historical Society. I'm standing now inside what would have been the greenhouse. You can see the outline of the greenhouse on the brick and brownstone on the outside of the plant house. This would have been the end of the greenhouse. The door behind me was a door that was used by the gardener to go from inside the greenhouse to inside the plant house. The time and elements have worn away parts of the building. Water has gotten into the side of the structure and forced some of the brownstone out from the top. It's got into the wides of the brick, forcing them out. Actually, the brick here is actually 4 widths thick, 4 bricks lengths thick, but it's deteriorated, and you can see the edge of the windowsill. You can actually see the window weight inside. And that water damage goes all the way through to the inside of the structure, down to the supporting floor of the structure, and we'll take a look later on at how it affected the inside of the building. There are patterns in the bricks at the top of the plant house, and there are also patterns in the brick at the top of the main house. It was told by Charlotte Stevens, the granddaughter of Moses T. Stevens, who built the estate, that her grandfather had bricklayers from Italy put patterns in the tops of the buildings that were reflective of the patterns that he used in his products that he made at the mill. Now we're inside the plant house. It's not a very large structure. All the walls were horsehair plaster. And as we go around, you'll see that some of the plaster has been removed because of the dampness and moisture that's gotten into the building. At one point over in this section, there's a flue that went into a chimney that you can see above the structure. Actually, we don't know exactly what was the heat up here, but the flue is still there. There was a set of stairs that went down, which would have been outside of the greenhouse, not going into that greenhouse. Over here, you can see the water damage where I showed from the outside. You can see the mold on the wall, and the floor is actually separated from the exterior of the building. When I was standing outside and told you I was in what was then the greenhouse, and said there was a set of stairs going in, this is the inside of that set of stairs, the arch window and the Dutch window you can see right there. So if you went out this set of doors, actually what it was, you would be going right into the greenhouse. If you went out that door, you'd be going outside the greenhouse. As I head upstairs, you can look on the wall and see the damage that the moisture has done to the horsehair plaster. Some of it's really deteriorated, and it goes all the way to the floor, to the dry rot in the floor. But what's interesting is, even though this was a plant house, and the only person that probably entered here was the gardener, the craftsmanship that went into this building, the people took great pride in it. If you look at the newel posts and the spindles, which are probably all hand-turned, there's a lot of definition in the woodwork, even for a plant house like this. We're now in the small attic space in the top of the plant house. We're not really sure what this is used for, but we can only assume that it was used for storage of some of the plant pots or whatever the gardener may have had during the winter months. The window to my right faces the carriage house, And as we go out, you'll take a look at the door that leads to the stairway, and even the workmanship that went into that door in the plant house, as far as the knob and the mortise and tenon work in the door itself. Okay, we're now in the basement of the plant house. This is where the boiler was, and the boiler for the heat for the plant house, and also it fed water out to the greenhouse to keep it warm. And if you look at behind me, you can see two pipes in the wall. Those went out to the greenhouse to maintain the heat. There's several pipes actually, some over there and some over there. This set of stairs over to my right is the set of stairs that were on the first floor of the plant house, led out to the door that went out adjacent to the greenhouse. And on the far side, you can see the stairway, which was closed over on the first floor, which led from inside the greenhouse to inside the plant house. Now the damage from the water can be seen behind me in the wall, and this is the floor of the first floor where it's actually separated from the building. And a shoring has been put up temporarily to hold the floor from falling down. And it's been done in several places, so this was mainly used to keep the boiler and pump water into the greenhouse. Thanks for joining us on this tour of the plant house. In the future, we'll come back and do a tour of the main house, where many positive changes have occurred over the past years. Thank you for joining us. This is Bill Dolan for North Andover CAM.
We would like to thank the Stevens Estate and the North Andover Historical Society for giving us this opportunity. If you would like to learn more about the Historical Society and the Stevens Estate here in North Andover, be sure to look them up on the web at stevensestate.com and northandoverhistoricalsociety.org.
And now in our first new segment this month, Lieut Ritchie will fill us in on what's going on with the Borderline Running Club. Lisa?
Hi everyone, my name is Lieut Ritchie, and I'm happy to report that I will be contributing to the Journal on an ongoing basis as the host of a new fitness segment of the show. It's my goal to get people more active in our community by introducing you to the many different local businesses and organizations that have a fresh and fun take on getting you moving. Our residents are already some of the healthiest I've seen. And we should be, because we certainly have a wide range of athletics available to us. I'll be showcasing many of these, like yoga, kickboxing, swimming. I'll be bringing to you some inside tips on how to get started on one of the activities that might interest you, so that first day beginning a new exercise program is not as intimidating as it may initially seem. First up, I'm starting with a personal favorite of mine, and I know I share the love of this sport with many others in town. I'm talking about running, and more specifically, running with the Borderline Running Club right here in North Andover. Chances are, as you've been out driving, you've seen this group, brightly outfitted, in the streets in the early morning hours, and typically traveling in packs. Perhaps you've seen the cars parked at the Common, a favorite starting point with BRC stickers. They look serious about their sport, but is it strictly competitive in nature, or are these guys having some fun too? Today, I have club founders, Frank Killilea and Tom Reusch, here to tell us more about the Borderline Running Club, or BRC. Thank you, Frank, Tom, for being with us here today.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. Happy to be here, Lisa.
Great. I thought we'd start maybe with some background of the club. I understand it began in 2007. You put this idea together. Tell me a little bit about your initial thoughts and ideas and how that actually did materialize.
It started off really just on a typical Saturday morning run, Frank and I, like we always did, and we just happened to run by a sign that said entering Boxford. And for some strange reason, we touched the sign, we turned around, and we ran back to the Common. And then we said, might be onto something here. We run from the North Andover Common to the bordering towns of each town that borders North Andover.
Plus, we throw in Salem, New Hampshire to get one state border.
So that is how many in total?
8.
The whole idea is to just have a goal so that you're not just out there running in circles. If we set a destination or a goal to run to, it just makes it a little bit more fun.
Word started getting out, and this friend told that friend, and that friend told that friend. Next thing you know, people were showing up who we didn't even know, but we know very well now. So that's another nice thing about the whole club. So I've got 75 new friends because of this event. So it's really, it's been a great experience for us. And
So how many members total?
The 78 right now.
So once you complete the border, what does that mean? You show up on Saturdays, you get to run with the group.
Well, you got a shirt.
Okay.
Yeah.
You get a very nice shirt that has all the borders.
And then we have an induction night for that person, so we have a big gathering over at Culpeppers here in town. And
To make the membership official?
yeah, and that's always a fun night.
Right.
So just to run with the Borderline Running Club, how do you get started?
Every Saturday morning at 6:45.
Starting at the Common
As far as we know, we're the only running club in town that runs from the Common at 6:45.
on the Saturdays, and you
on
welcome
Saturdays.
No, we're
Yes.
the best running club. that starts at 6:45 at the Common.
all. And what kind of fitness level do you have to have? I mean, what kind of miles are people putting in on Saturday mornings at 6:45?
We have runners of all different abilities. We have elite marathoners, we have young runners, we have older runners, we have a mix of male and female. So it's a pretty diverse group, is what I'm trying to say. Another thing that has come out of this club is we do a lot of charity work. We host the 4th of July road race here in town now, and all proceeds go to a local charity. Many of our club members are active chairmen, chairwomen of various foundations that we all contribute to. So it's not just about running and having fun. We've all kind of banded together.
Well, I thank you both for being with us here today, and I thank you for encouraging other people to get out and get moving. The running club is an excellent way to start, and I thank you for starting it because it's brought a lot of pleasure to our residents.
Well, thank you, Lisa.
Thanks for having us.
That was great. You can check out Lisa's full interview with Frank and Tom of the BRC on CAM Access. In related running news, many members of the Borderline Running Club and other North Andover residents are taking part in the 2014 Boston Marathon. We wanted to take a moment to wish them the best of luck.
Now let's check in with Tara and Jen in the Journal's Entertainment Report.
Hello. Welcome, North Andover, to our first segment of the Journal.
Woohoo!
This is my friend Tara.
And this is my friend Jen.
And this is our entertainment Top 10. Our segment will be about shows in and around North Andover. So tune in from week to week and check out what's going on in the local area.
Absolutely. You may have seen in our previous episode of the Journal a little bit about the Joshua Tree. They are a U2 cover band, and they performed at the Rogers Center on March 7th. And apparently this was a great fundraiser for the police department. A lot of turnout for this.
Absolutely. Also, we just want to review some of the things that you may have seen around town in March. First, the Merrimack Valley Philharmonic Orchestra was pleased to feature native artist Joshua Peckins, who has returned after living several years in Vienna. Joshua performed the Brahms Violin Concerto for Violin and Orchestra in D major, Opus 77. First performing as a violin soloist with orchestra at age 11, Joshua, a native to our area, has since performed throughout the world and as an orchestral musician at Carnegie Hall. Tara, by the way, do you know how to get to Carnegie Hall?
I don't, Jen. Can you tell me?
Practice, practice, practice.
There it is, folks. There's the secret.
Well, there you go. The well-known Dvorak Symphony No. 9 in E minor, Opus 95, was also performed from the New World. And in this orchestra performance, the director was George Mansour. If you want more information about this orchestra, you can go to the website at www.mvpomusic.org.
You may have seen one of the previous shows from Acting Out Lafferty's Wake. It was an Irish play full of Irish songs and Irish step dancing. This was on March 14th and 15th, and here's a clip to show you what you might have missed out on.
It's like a boxing match. Charlie would have loved this.
Not only was there the Irish show, but there's also junior productions there at Acting Out. Some of the upcoming ones are Alice in Wonderland, March 28th and 29th, followed by Bye Bye Birdie, April 4th and 5th. So for that one, you want to bust out your poodle skirts and definitely get your tickets to that.
Woohoo!
They also have The Woodsman Fairy being performed April 11th and 12th. Not only are there junior productions, but this May we have Mother's Day, of course, and they're Acting Out is performing Motherhood Out Loud Sunday, May 4th. It's a series of mommy monologues and a great way to celebrate the upcoming Mother's Day. So kids, if you haven't already purchased a gift for your mother, this might be the one. For tickets and information, visit the website www.actingouttheater.com.
Great. Thank you, Tara.
You're welcome.
The North Andover High School will be performing Once on This Island May 8th through 11th, which is a retelling of the traditional Little Mermaid.
Ooh.
This time, however, there's nothing to do with water or mermaids.
Interesting.
So for tickets and information, go to nahsdrama.com.
At Merrimack College's On Stagers production of Tartuffe will be performed April 3rd, 4th, and 5th at the Rogers Center.
Additionally, the Pentucket Players will be also performing at the Rogers Center. They will be performing Spamalot April 11th, 12th, and 13th. The last feature will be the Merrimack Valley Philharmonic, which will be performing a double piano concerto on May 4th. You will not see this again, everyone, because this is a first-time performance in the United States. So you do not want to miss out on that special event.
What an experience, Jen.
Yes. So thanks for watching our first segment. And remember, you don't always have to go to Boston to see a good show.
So true, Jen. I'll cheers to that.
Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers to you, North Andover.
We hope to see you again.
Also in entertainment, remember the Edgewood Players from our last show? Well, they recently filled the house for their March performance and expect many more exciting adventures on the horizon. On March 18th, the Players put on their second theatrical performance in front of a packed house. The two one-act comedies featured 5 residents and were directed by Paula Kelly and Nancy Ryan. It was a great night for all.
And Cardinal O'Malley officiated Sunday Mass at St. Michael's here in North Andover on March 2nd. This is the third time since 2008 that Cardinal O'Malley has visited St. Michael's Parish. A year ago, he was part of the enclave that selected the new pope. There was even talk in the Boston media that Cardinal O'Malley was a potential candidate for the papacy. Most recently, Cardinal O'Malley was named to a new Vatican Anti-Abuse Commission. He's already the lone American on the Pope's Council of Advisors and will also be the only American on the Anti-Abuse Commission. His new position is part-time, so he will remain here as the Archbishop of Boston.
On March 13th, the North Andover Middle School held its first 8th grade science exhibition. Hundreds of students showed off their experiments in different areas of science like biology and chemistry. North Andover CAM member Kim Reardon and former science teacher Rhonda Katabjian were there to capture the evening.
The highlights with the students recently, having them wow us. Students that, okay, they're an okay student, and they present, and they really truly learn their science. They put so much time and effort, they could speak to it, relate what they did, they could speak the science, and we're falling off our chairs. We can't, what they've produced today, I think you said it earlier, the little engineers of the future, the forensic scientists of the future. We have the, one of our kids in biology, they had a whole experiment with grasshoppers and what happens when you have overpopulation, not enough food, and these grasshoppers turn to cannibalism. So that was pretty interesting. So just the amazing things, the longboards that came in, everything that came in, and seeing everyone with all this energy and parents all smiling.
Yes.
They looked like they wanted to be here,
Yes.
and the children wanted to be here, and I don't know, it's a high that I'm just so happy this community got to have this.
It's how socialization helps the growth of baby chicks.
Okay.
And my project is called Clean and Healthy Water. It's about preventing fertilizer runoff. And I decided to choose it because 2 summers ago, there was a blue-green algae problem in Stevens Pond, and blue-green algae was just blooming because of the high levels of nitrates and phosphates in the water.
And we're doing 2 experiments. One is like how to figure out fingerprints, and the other is how to figure out if the blood is real or not.
And our problem was if maglev trains are more efficient than
normal wheel trains.
Our question was, can we solve the nation's energy and obesity problems using human energy?
We wanted to find out how much damage our favorite sodas were doing to our teeth.
Ended up coming across cryogenics, and we found it kind of interesting how you see it in movies, people being frozen and brought back, like more superhero stuff almost, kind of like that.
You know, one of the most enjoyable parts of this whole science exhibition was not only the kids and all of their work, that's the most important part, but watching the teachers in our school system all bond and come together. So many 8th grade teachers, 7th and 6th grade teachers, not just in science, came to support these children tonight on their own free time, their own personal time. And to see that enthusiasm and the dedication from these teachers, it's just a great feeling.
It definitely looked like a great event. Be sure to check out the full show on Cam Ed, which will be airing soon.
Okay, so over in GovCam news, Representative DiZoglio actually held a really nice St. Patrick's Day luncheon for our seniors at the Senior Center. And later that evening, her and our distinguished representatives in the State House reported what was happening in the State House as it relates to North Andover. Specifically, they talked about a potential commuter rail stop in the 125 corridor. They also discussed the improvement plan for the Route 114 safety program that's been really, important for the Merrimack College area. Rep. Lyons actually talked about the freeing up of billions of dollars that the state has discovered is going to people who do not qualify for it and using it for local aid. And Bruce Tarr actually reported on the overall budget as it relates to the state and North Andover. So you can check that whole segment out on GovCam. It was really interesting.
And if you do look in the archives, it's the episode from March 10th.
Correct.
So be sure to check that out for more information. And now an update from Town Manager Andrew Maylor.
This month's episode, we want to talk a little bit about the facility master plan. Back in 2010, Town Meeting recognized the need to address both programmatic and space needs in the communities and our public buildings over the next 20 years. What resulted was the formation of a committee that spent 2 years gathering information with the help of a consultant to come back to Town Meeting in 2012 with a comprehensive plan to address the space needs and programmatic needs of public buildings throughout the community. These are both school buildings and municipal and town buildings. Town Meeting accepted that report in 2012, and the work on 7 different projects began. Those projects will continue through 2019, full occupancy somewhere around calendar of 2020. All of those projects, a total of $24.5 million worth of projects, will be funded through the operating budget without the need for additional taxation through an override or debt exclusion. Important highlights of the projects, the 2 projects that are currently underway. The new gym at the Kittredge School, the only elementary school in town without a gymnasium, is getting a new gymnasium, and maybe you've had the opportunity to see the steel structure which has been constructed on that site near Main and Osgood Street. And shortly in the month of April, we'll see the beginning of the construction of a new school administration building on the former police station site. So the police station will come down and a new facility will be built there for the school administration, eliminating the need for them to pay rent at an off-site facility. Future projects which are very important. A new fire station to be built on Chickering Road is the next project in the line. That's a significant project because currently we operate off a station built originally in the early 1900s that really is antiquated and doesn't provide the proper resources and space needs. When that building is constructed and the fire station moves to Chickering Road, the space here in the fire station next to Town Hall will be expanded for the use of the community development departments that are currently, again, located off-site. This will allow residents a one-stop shopping location for the Town Hall services, which we think benefits all residents in the long term. Other important projects, the expansion of certain school classrooms over the next several years, the expansion of the existing senior center on-site to make sure that we can address the space needs of our aging population. And as part of that senior center expansion, we're going to spend some time and some dollars addressing the parking needs of Main Street. Finally, the last project in the queue is the reconstruction of the DPW facility on its existing location. That facility is pretty substantially antiquated, and over the next several years it will become more so. And so we'll take the opportunity to reconstruct that facility out in 2019 to make sure that we're preparing for the future needs of that department. Thank you.
And thank you, Mr. Maylor. We appreciate your updates here on the Journal. And now let's check in with a local police update with Lieutenant Charles Gray.
All right, this right here is the roll call room, and this is where each shift begins at midnight, 8 in the morning, and 4 in the afternoon. Those officers assigned to the shift convene in this room. The duty supervisor gives them their cruiser assignments, the area of town they're going to be covering, and any specific particular beats as far as a walking beat or a directed patrol. After they get their assignments, they're given the rundown of what happened in the last 24 hours since they left. If we have any training going on in this room, it's done on the board behind me with the screen. A lot of training gets done in this room. We try to get training in almost every day. We try to make every day a training day. It's just one of the things that in this line of work you have to really stay up on the training. But after they get their assignments, they're going to head out to the cruisers. That's where we're going to go. And we're going to go take a ride around and show you some of the areas of town and what we're doing to keep North Andover safe. So one of the first things we can talk about here is how North Andover is, you know, it's a community in the Merrimack Valley next to Lawrence, next to Andover, Methuen, and Haverhill and Boxford. It's about 26 square miles to patrol. It's about 30,000 for a population. Now, when I grew up in town, it was about 15,000. It's gone up quite a bit. And, you know, you have the patrol areas out here that different parts of town, a cruiser assigned to each one. And right now we're in the downtown area, Sector 1, where, you know, we're waiting for radio calls to come in. We're monitoring intersections, traffic. Like I said, it's shift change now. It's 4 o'clock, so the afternoon commute's starting, and we're going to stay out here and just make sure everything is running smoothly. We're out on Salem Street right now, heading out towards Sharpers Pond, and one of the questions we get is, you know, what are we looking for out here? Well, a majority of the complaints from residents is speeding cars. So we're out here monitoring for speeders, monitoring for, you know, excessive noise, red lights, stop signs and whatnot, mostly stop signs out on Salem Street. But if you can look down here at this thing right here, we have a radar. That's the radar that's telling us what's coming at us. And it's hooked up to the sensor right here. You can also clock the cars. We have a pretty good judge for a lot of training that goes into it, but you can judge how fast they're going by coming in at you to, you know, estimate it, and clock them with the cruiser speedometer, which is calibrated to be exact. You know, in the quarterly newsletter the chief put out, he mentioned about the scams that are out there, and as the snow's melting and people are coming out, and we see a lot of traffic on the roads, almost like gypsy crews that are out knocking on doors asking to do some work for you, and, you know, they'll give you a price that's just ridiculously low. And sure enough, you know, some people will fall for it, and they'll say sure, and they'll ask for a down payment, and they say, oh, we're just gonna do some prep work today, we'll be back tomorrow with all our equipment. Tomorrow comes, they're not there, the next day comes, they're not there, and then we get the phone call that says, you know, I gave these people a lot of money to do some work and they're not showing up again. So in the quarterly newsletter that you get with your taxes, the chief mentions about these scams and what to do to avoid them, and the fact that they are out there, and by being out here, you know, we're out here looking for them too. But as I said earlier, you know, it's 26 square miles, a lot of residents to watch out for them. We're doing the best we can, but we also need some help from you, that when you see these sort of things, give us a call, because we love to have conversations with these people. Right now we are in the North Andover Mall, and a lot of the people, a lot of questions asked, what's a cruiser always doing down here? Are you guys that busy? Well, to answer the question, yes, we are that busy when it comes to this mall because of the volume of traffic and people that are down here. But one of the other things we have is what's called a directed patrol. And a directed patrol function, especially during the holiday shopping season, it's a visible deterrence. And what we do is assign a cruiser down here all day and into the evening when the stores are open. Now, what that does is it gives peace of mind to the customers down here that see a cruiser. It gives peace of mind to the store owners because they know that if they need help, we're just a moment away. And it also gives a message to the bad guys that say, look, if you do something you shouldn't be doing, we're going to be there. And you know, one thing that happened this past holiday season, and I can't think of a better reason for having a cruiser down here, is it wasn't a police call at all. It was a medical call, a 911 call from Market Basket that a child was choking, and the cruiser was parked right at the entrance and was there within a matter of seconds, and, you know, rendered first aid before the ambulance got there, which is always helpful. But I can't think of a better reason to have a cruiser down there, and yet I can't think of how good it must have felt for the parents of that child to hear those sirens coming in a matter of seconds after 911 was called. Tempo. All right. So we're going to go to a medical call at Fitness for You on 114. And see if we can give some assistance before the medics get there. So we just cleared that medical call at the gym. The fire department's transporting that person to the hospital. And your question asked is, why does a police officer go to one of these medical calls? Well, we're trained first responders, and being a mobile unit, we're out in the community, whereas the fire department is, at their station. So our job is to help them. They help us plenty of other times. We work as teams. In this situation, right at a roll call, they had a medical call. It ended up being a code down on Water Street, so the medics were down there. This came in. We were a close by unit, so we went. Officer Byrne was nice enough to help us out, and fortunately we arrived at the same time, and the medics did their thing. So we're there to help out, we're there to assist, and again, we're trained first responders, so we can give some level of care, but we're going to defer to the fire department whenever possible. I hope you enjoyed our short ride through the magic of North Andover, Cam. It seemed a lot shorter than it actually was. I can assure you that there's a lot more going on than just the one medical call you saw. However, for legal reasons, such as Corey, we can't get into showing people's faces or names or what happened at that particular scene at this time. We're going to respect their privacy and do the job off camera. But in the meantime, you got a little taste of what goes on around town. You can see how we work together with other departments like the fire department. You can see what we're doing to work with the merchants downtown, down at the mall, and how we're trying to make residents let them know that we're doing our job out there. And if you have any questions, any concerns, anything you want to hear us talk about, by all means, get in touch with us at CAM, get in touch with us at the police department. My email, Lieutenant Charles Graham on the website, and hope you had a great time tonight and look forward to doing this next time. Bye-bye.
Did you know that as many as 25% of our country's homeless population is made up of veterans? I didn't, and we're happy to say that Massachusetts is leading the way in working towards eliminating this problem. We sat down with Veterans Services Officer Ed Mitchell and Randy Carter of the Northeast Outreach Center to find out about the many ways they are helping veterans right here in North Andover.
Supportive Services for Veterans and Their Families is a program to help prevent homelessness. So, which basically was boots on the ground October 1st. This is when we started. We will take families who are actually homeless, facing eviction, or just falling behind in their bills as far as rent and utility bills are concerned. I can give you an example. We had a family of 4. They were doing well. Husband lost his job, wife lost her job, unemployment ran out, they lost their home. Now they're living in a hotel. My job is to get them out of that hotel and into suitable housing for them and help them basically get back on their feet again. Approximately in the Merrimack Valley, Essex County, we've helped approximately 45 to 55 families. Some were actually homeless, and we took them out of hotels and placed them in homes. We've took them out of living in their vehicles and placed them into housing. Or we've actually taken some families who had fallen 2 or 3 months behind in their rent and was able to catch them up to where so they can sustain themselves.
As a veteran service officer for the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, it's extremely proud to hold this position because Massachusetts leads the nation in providing benefits and services to our veterans. And then North Andover, we're doing something that's kind of leading the state in establishing veteran housing. One of the biggest heartaches I have as a veteran service officer is when a veteran comes in my door and says, I'm leaving, I'm relocating, and usually it's to New Hampshire. Less taxes, I guess, are a big part of it, but mostly it's because of rent. Can't afford to pay the rent. Rent in North Andover is extremely high. Yeah. So fortunately, working with the Veterans Northeast Outreach Center and establishing a committee here in North Andover, we were able to come up with a plan to tap into the CPA funding and purchase a distressed home here in North Andover, to refurbish it, turn it into a 2 or 3 bedroom or 2 or 3 unit family home for our veterans so that they can live in a beautiful home in a beautiful neighborhood and that has an exceptional educational program, and that is exciting. But most importantly is the fact that we're utilizing the CPA funds. That's tax money that North Andover's paid to. We took that money, purchased a distressed home in the community, so we improved that community.
Am I right after this tip?
In itself, but also because there's no mortgage on the house, we're able to provide that unit, those 3 units, to a veteran family at a reduced rent. And after maintenance costs and administrative fees, that rent money would come back to the community to help offset another veteran's rent or go towards purchasing another distressed unit. So we're actually taking taxpayers' money and putting it to work instead of throwing it at a problem. So this money that we got from the CPA is actually going to be regenerating and working for us and helping veterans at the same time.
If you need more information about housing assistance or other programs offered to veterans, a great place to start is online at massvetsadvisor.com. You can also contact Ed Mitchell at 978-688-9525. And now for our Journal event calendar updates. On Sunday, April 6th, 2014, at 7 a.m., the MSPCA is offering a spring vaccination clinic. The clinic will be held at the Noble Family Adoption Center and is open to the public with no advanced appointments required. For more information and the cost of these services, go to mspca.org/Nevins.
On Thursday, April 10th at 6:30 p.m., the Essex Agricultural Class of 2014 through 2017 will be holding a Taste of the North Shore, live and silent auction. For more information, contact Kay McKay at agtech.org.
And on Sunday, April 13th, the Cochicowick Masonic Lodge is holding a pancake breakfast. The food starts rolling at 8 a.m. until 11. Public is welcome, and $6 for adults, $4 for children, and children under 6 are free.
On Sunday, April 27th at 8 a.m., North Andover is hosting the first annual Earth Rock Run. This is a fun and exciting spring option for anyone who loves running.
And the Earth Rock Run course takes you through the beautiful streets of North Andover for a 13.1-mile loop. And if you want to go for the full marathon, you can double up and run the course twice for the certified 26.2. For more information, go to sub5racing.com.
For our upcoming music events, on April 8th is the All-Town Band Festival at North Andover High School, starting at 7 p.m. For those of you who are automobile aficionados, Sunday, April 26th from 10 a.m. to noon, there is an El Camino Spring Dust-Off. There's free parking as well as free admission.
And that's it for our April update event calendar this month. And if you have an event you want to publicize, give us a call at 978-687-6570 or email us at thejournal@northandovercam.org.
Well, everyone, that concludes our 3rd episode of The Journal here on North Andover Cam.
We hope you enjoyed what you learned today on North Andover Cam, and be sure to check back in for more updates and news on the web.
Until next time, I'm Morgan Healy.
And I'm Ron Carpenito.
Thanks so much for watching.